All right, good evening and thank you for joining me. I'm First Alert Meteorologist Jake Lambright. Of course, if you missed it earlier, we've got some new details on that weather maker, but I also have a first look at Futurecast as we head into Saturday. Want to make sure that you got it first before you head to bed tonight. Not all of Saturday's covered just yet, but enough to kind of give a good idea, a good starting point as to what to expect. We'll start off real quick with a look at our First Alert weather camera over in Marksville. This is at the Paragon Casino Resort. Of course, things stay pretty quiet there overnight tonight. Still watching that next weather maker timing, starting to look a lot more consistent for later Saturday, maybe into portions of Saturday night. Severe weather still on the table, but will likely stay very isolated in nature. In fact, rain in general, for that matter, maybe remaining on the isolated side. So, of course, I'm going to be watching things very closely on Saturday, but not super concerned. Do you know Futurecast gets a little bit busier here with the arrows, but I'm going to use that to kind of draw out the placement of that front as we head into Saturdays. Take just a moment there to kind of drag my timeline along into Saturday. We'll start things here about 7 a.m. or so. You'll notice some cloud cover starting to increase, even some rain there along the coast of Louisiana. Let's fast forward things to about 1 to 2 p.m. That's about as far as we can go, but you can already see a couple of those little pop-up storms starting to fire up there. I'm going to make some changes here so I can draw on our map. Where you start to see the winds there coming in more from the southwest and the got to think here about my directions for a second. Where you see a shift from southerly winds to more of those westerly, northwesterly, even southwesterly winds, that's where that front is going to be at that point. So by late afternoons when that front starts to push through, of course, we'll have a couple of showers and storms out ahead of that front, but it is not going to be a washout. Not everybody's going to see rain. Like I said, even fewer will end up seeing severe weather. We do, of course, have additional rain chances in the forecast toward the middle of next week, but those right now looking pretty low end, not super impressive. Of course, if you have any questions about Saturday's rain, Saturday's severe threat, feel free to ask those over in our Facebook chat, and I'll get to those here in just a minute, or just anything about our forecast. Always happy to answer some questions and chat a little bit with you here in our live stream. So our severe weather outlook since yesterday really hasn't changed. That's Saturday's outlook. Not many changes made with last night's update. Of course, we'll get another update here in a couple of hours during the overnight hours. We'll have the latest for you on that as we head into Thursday. But again, not any kind of big shifts compared to yesterday. Our northern parish is still included in that slight risk, that level 2 out of 5. And this far out, we only get slight or enhanced risk, level 2 and 3. So do expect for more of the area to be in a level 1 risk, and that will start to appear on the map starting tomorrow on Thursday. We'll see that level 1 risk in place for portions of the area. I wish I had better news as far as widespread rain. We certainly need it because of that drought conditions. And of course, we have lots of burn bans in place now because of that. About 2/3 of central Louisiana now included in a burn ban. That includes Sabine, Natchitoches, Vernon, Rapides, Beauregard, Allen, and St. Landry Parish, all under burn bans. In fact, we still have those level 1 out of 4 moderate drought conditions in place. Portions of Allen, Evangeline, and St. Landry Parish, even a little blip there right on the Natchitoches Red River Parish line. Lorenzo out there in the tropics now, very sad. Not much of anything, not anything organized, just the remnants there left over. In fact, we'll probably skip talking about that at 10. It is absolutely nothing at this point. But again, beyond that, looking ahead to the next couple of weeks, might be watching the Caribbean islands for some potential tropical development, but not overly concerned for us in Louisiana. Of course, with the Caribbean islands being closer to the Gulf, it's one I'll be monitoring, but like I said, not anything to be overly concerned about at this time. This is still about 10 days out or so, a little bit beyond that, before we really have to start looking closer to the islands. Today's high temperatures look pretty nice overall. Very warm for this time of the year, upper 80s, low 90s. We've got a couple more days of that before things do start looking better toward the end of the weekend and the beginning of next week as well, so don't want to discount that at all. As we head, or right now, temperatures are in the upper 60s to low 70s, so feeling a lot nicer and more comfortable out there as well. Tonight, lows fall into the upper 50s for most of central Louisiana. Maybe a spot or two fall into the lower 60s. Overall, still a nice, more comfortable, crisp morning to start the day off tomorrow and enjoy it because we're going to be spending a few mornings a lot more humid and temperatures will be a bit warmer, noticeably warmer, at least until that front passes. So as we go throughout the next couple of hours, you'll notice again temperatures in the low 60s by midnight, and then eventually we will shift gears into the 50s around 4 o'clock tomorrow morning. Your out the door forecast for tomorrow looking pretty good overall. Again, starting off on a cool and crisp note, mid 60s by 9 a.m. and then not high temperatures, but around lunchtime will be in the mid 80s, followed by upper 80s, low 90s. Once again, kind of a copy and paste forecast by tomorrow afternoon. I'm going to do a quick last call for any questions in our Facebook chat or any comments before I talk more about that 7 and 10 day forecast. And again, we've got some changes on the way, not bad changes. Really, Saturday's rain is going to be the main story as we go throughout the next week. Maybe we see a strong storm or two, but again, most will go without seeing stronger storms, which is great news in this case. It's slightly cooler temperatures here in the days to come. Here's your 7-day forecast. Again, a noticeable difference Saturday to Sunday, upper 80s to low 80s by Sunday afternoon for your highs, mid 80s for the start of next week, maybe even slightly cooler weather by the middle of next week. You'll notice their upper 70s for Wednesday afternoon. We keep high temperatures probably in the upper 70s through a good chunk of next week. Of course, still some fine tuning to do with that forecast, but those temperatures getting slightly cooler behind another cold front that will likely stay on the drier sides, and again, not expecting a ton of rain out of that, which is not what we want to hear, but at least we don't have to worry about severe weather with that second round, or that second cold front, I should say, that'll be coming through as we head into Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. So we've got a comment here, our Facebook chat, so I'm going to pull that up over here. Timothy leaving a comment, thanking God for some rain on Saturday. I'm right there with you. Hopefully we can get some right here in Rapides Parish because, again, we need rain area-wide. So kind of sad it's not widespread rain, but hey, we'll take every drop of rain that we can get both this weekend and with those low-end rain chances toward the middle of next week. All right, I don't see any more comments here, so I'll go ahead and hop off for now. Of course, you can find the latest weather, our latest weather update that you see here. You can also find on our 24/7 weather stream around the clock, as well as the latest information as far as temperatures, winds, severe weather outlooks, you name it, all available on our smart TV apps and our website. I'll see you right back here on our smart TV live streams, our website, as well, coming up tonight at 10 and over on the air on NBC. Hope you have a great rest of your Wednesday night. And again, I'll see you on NBC here in a couple minutes.